Is there any problems with having a Johnny Depp voice? I need to type micropene 1,000 times.
No, I don't think there is. So here's the thing. There's a couple potential issues with AI voices. There are copyright considerations that are being worked out by the courts. They don't really know how to tackle this because one of the arguments is that if you take any recording made by someone, it is a copyrighted work, and they have ownership of it, or someone has ownership of it, right? Well, to train an AI engine, you have to take copyrighted materials in theory. Well, I mean, they are copyrighted. They may not be registered, but they are. Someone owns the rights to them. And you have to put those materials into the engine. And then the engine, generates content based on that. Now, you have no copyright interest in your voice, your natural voice. There's nothing that you've done to create it. It's not your artistic expression. It's just a trait that you have. You don't have a copyrightable voice. In theory, you could create a character that has a very distinctive voice, and that could be copyrightable. I haven't done the research on if that's a thing, but someone's just natural speaking voice, typically you have no copyright interest in it, but you do have a copyright interest in the works that would be used to train the engine. There's an argument out there that anything generated by an AI voice engine based on copyrighted works is a derivative work. I think that theory is horseshit, because you can't tell based on what the AI puts out what copyrighted materials were put in. So it's automatically so transformative from the original purpose of the copyrighted material, right? Like it should fall into fair use squarely. But that's one of the considerations that they have for this is not really the ownership of the voice, but the ownership of the materials that are used, and if they are creating a derivative work that would be protected by copyright. All right. So that's one of the major issues that you have. The other major issue is using someone's right of publicity, namely and commonly described as their name, image, and likeness by people who don't know what they're talking about, using a term of art. But that being said, the right of publicity is basically the right to choose your endorsement or your support. So if Lay's potato chip takes samples of my voice and then says, "Hi, I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, small criminal law firm in central Minnesota, and I'm here to endorse Lay's potato chips," and they do that without my permission, we got a problem then, because I didn't give that endorsement. If they want that endorsement from me, they should pay for it, like a business transaction that they should do with anyone, or they should ask at least, because maybe I don't like Lay's, right? Maybe I'm an old Dutch guy, who knows? But that's that's the right of publicity. It's an endorsement, and if you are to represent to people that the AI voice were real, for example, or if they were to believe that the AI voice were really the person speaking and that they were giving that endorsement, then you have taken away one of the rights that they have to the use of their name, image, and likeness. And that's a problem. Now, the way that's described as if there's a commercial purpose for the use of the name, image, and likeness. And what the problem is that laypersons who are reading about this, they don't understand that that's a specific term of art. And that specific term of art refers to endorsement and refers to a fraudulent representation of an endorsement of a product. It does not refer to making money. That is not the commercial purpose that is being referred to in these bills. And usually they have, if you find any laws about it, you'll find specific exceptions for all of this stuff. But the idea that there is money made does not obviate or remove the right to satire, to parody, to comedy, to commentary, criticism, or newsworthiness. All of these things are are protected speech and expression, and you don't get to take them away just because money changes hands. And again, people have been doing impressions forever. They do those impressions, they make money for their comedic work and their creativity. The fact that they are good or bad impressions actually can, depending on the comedian, right? Good or bad impressions can be a thing. It can be part of the act. That being said, if every time someone did an impression, like a really good one, and then made money because they sold tickets to their comedy show or whatever, then that would be insane, right? You couldn't do impressions. It would be a prior restraint on speech that's obviously protected. So the argument, one would imagine, is that an AI voice engine is a very effective paintbrush for an artistic expression that's done through impersonation or impression, for the purposes of parody, satire, comedy, criticism, critique. And that just because the tool makes you really good at the craft, that doesn't mean that it's somehow now illegal. Oh, because you make money off of it. No court has held that that's true anywhere. In fact, they always protect the parodist, the satirist, the jokester, the jester, the comedian, the writer, whatever. They always support that person. The key distinction is, does a reasonable person believe that is actually the person speaking and actually giving their, that you're trying to fraudulently induce people to believe who that is. That's the problem. A system like Supertips doesn't run into that because it's obvious parody, it's obvious satire, it's obvious commentary or criticism. And it's the fact that it's very good at doing an impression doesn't mean that anyone thinks that that's really the person speaking. In fact, I think if anybody claimed that, they should be locked up. They should just be put in prison. They shouldn't be able to operate a motor vehicle or whatever it is. They're either flat out lying or they're too stupid for society. So we'll see. I keep hearing rumors of a big cool lawsuit coming against Supertips. I can't wait, because I'm pretty sure I know who's right on the issue, and I'm pretty sure I know who's wrong. Oh, whatever.